Yes, my name is Benjamin Rundo. It was way back in Form 2 in high school. That is when my issue with drugs started. And initially it started with cigarette, bang. Most of the times I never paid attention to what my parents would tell me, and basically my dad. Because to me he appeared to be such a disciplinarian parent, and I never used to like that kind of treatment he had on me. And so I just became rebellious. Do things on my own and show him that this is my life. I can do anything with it. Yet I was still in school. I first went into cigarette, and I could smoke while in high school in Form 2, and whenever I could go out in the evening, because I was in a boarding camp day school. So I was a boarder, and over the weekends students would go out. We would bribe the watchman and get out of school, and as we got out, I would just get a few sticks for myself. And I remember I started using Sportsman cigarette. From there I went into bang, and I could always sneak out of school for some good reason to go and use whatever it is I wanted to use, and I wanted the freedom. Whenever I would be suspended from school, with friends of mine could come home, we would use my home to be a place of accommodation, and we decided then we are going to set up a garden for ourselves as a bang garden. So we could plant our own bang there and use it whenever we wanted to use it. It became worse and worse. But I thank God, because I could perform well in school again in class. And so to me it never appeared to be anything that would hinder me from studying and that would affect my studies anyway. So I wanted to get something even stronger than bang now. I was feeling like bang was not so strong to me. And so it was out of influence. This is now out of influence because it's a friend who introduced me into heroin, and could inject ourselves, the syringes, and immediately I got used to it. I became a dependent, and whenever I didn't have a dose, I would feel bad about it. And so it is in fourth form that I decided now this is now the time. This is my last year in high school, and immediately after registration, then I would do whatever it is I want to do, because finally I would know that I would come to sit for my Form 4 exams, final exams in the third term. So I waited patiently to register, and immediately I registered. Now I went even more. I became even more wild, and I did all sorts of issues in school, and just to make sure that I would be suspended or even expelled. Finally, I sat for my exams anyway, and I made sure my parents didn't know what I was doing with drugs. They never knew to this point, even after finishing Form 4. So for some time, I was into alcohol, but silently, because I would always be home every evening. So later, I joined college, Bugema University, and there I also got into it, and nobody knew. Even my own classmates, my own college mates, nobody knew, because I kept on hiding. That is one bit that I made sure nobody knew. So it has been a struggle for me. It has been a battle, because this affected most of my relationships. It affected my studies. It affected anything that I would start as business. I would realize that it could not work out for me, because much of the money I would use in business, I would get in business, go into alcohol, into miraa, and so that I would say affected me so much. The turnaround came when I look for a job while in Mombasa. Then I get a job in a club, and this is a big club, and I get the position as a manager to this club. And so one day I walk in the streets of Mombasa, and I bump into an Adventist book center, a bookshop, and something rings in my mind that you don't have a Bible. You can get yourself a Bible. And I decided to walk in the bookshop, the Adventist book center, and I didn't have enough to buy the Bible that I wanted to buy. It was costing around 2,600, and so I put 1,000 shillings as a deposit. Then after 2 weeks, I managed to get the balance and went and took the Bible. And so while in the office, in the club, because I used to have an office, so I would read my Bible. And I took my Bible to my workplace and put it in my desk. So every morning I would read my Bible, and it is there that I started getting this urge to quit whatever it is that I used to do, I used to use. To me, it was a surprise, it was a shock, because all of a sudden you wake up and say, today I don't want to use. And that is how it happened. But I believe this transformation, it wasn't out of me. That is one thing, because I have a very prayerful mother. I have a very prayerful sisters and brothers. So behind the scenes, I believe there was somebody, and that has come to my realization today, because my own sisters tested and testified, told me to me that I used to pray for you. My kid brother also testified and told me that I used to pray for you. I have a mother who is prayerful. My daddy also. So I believe there were people who were doing silent prayers on my behalf, just because they could look at me and they never knew what was happening in my life, because to them there was something funny happening in Benjamin's life that they didn't know what it was. So I believe their prayers silently helped me, and the conviction now taking place, and me deciding all of a sudden that I want to quit whatever it is, alcohol and drugs, basically. I think it was the power of the prayers that they were saying that helped me now decide I want to get a Bible, I want to quit alcohol, start reading my Bible, go to church. Even though you could be struggling to quit, I would advise that you also develop a culture in reading the Word of God. Even though you could be read the Word of God, and in your own ways say a prayer to God that you also want to quit, because it is out of your willingness that you can also quit.